Hi, Chris here. In this video I just want to talk generally about weight loss and the usual trend at the moment is to focus a lot on calories, the number of calories that we're consuming, as well as being careful with the amount of fat that we're consuming, because generally people feel that fat, when we eat fat, therefore we put on fat and therefore weight gain. And and then at the best of times when they're looking at the ingredients list, they're looking more at the percentage of content, but with the macronutrients, protein, carbohydrate, fat content, saturated fat content, sodium content. Now, in regards, I think we're kind of looking in the wrong places. I think and we're going to get very successful doing it this way, and it's going to be very tough to lose weight if you do lose weight doing it this way, the conventional way. And a lot easier way to do it is to really focus on just eating whole foods and eating foods that come from nature, that are natural. I know I've probably, people that have watched my videos, that I keep mentioning this, but this is such a vital component to a lifestyle for the rest of our lives, not just about losing weight here and there and then all of a sudden putting it back on, which is a very unhealthy thing to do. So we need to really focus on natural foods, because they are foods that the body can identify to use as an energy source, so therefore we don't store it as fat. The only things that the body really stores as fat is if we've eaten an overconsumption of a particular macronutrient or food source. And that's just pretty much self-explanatory. If we eat too much of one thing, then sure, it's going to cause problems. You know, we can drink too much water and it can cause problems, even though water is the elixir of life. Is that, we need to be eating natural food sources that the body can utilize at the time, and therefore we won't hold on to it. Remember, our fat is essentially where we store toxicity. And hence that's why a lot of people that go on detoxification diets is quite often, because we're allowing those toxins to be released from the fat source back into our bloodstream, we can actually feel worse than we did earlier, because we're releasing those stored toxins back into the bloodstream to allow the body to finally get rid of them. So for a period of time you're not going to feel well, because all that toxicity has been dumped back into the bloodstream. Now this is all toxicity from ingredients or food sources that didn't come from nature. And you have to be very careful with the labeling out there, because if it's something just says natural, that doesn't mean anything. That just means it originally came from something natural. It doesn't mean that the final product that you're about to consume or use on your skin or in a hair product is now still in a natural form. It's actually been processed, gone through a number of processing and changed and extracted into a form that the body just does not see as natural anymore, even though they can put on the label it's natural. So you want to don't worry about that natural labeling on ingredients. Just avoid that completely, and avoid looking at the percentage of macronutrients and the sodium levels and so on. You want to be really looking at the food ingredients list, and if you see food ingredients that have numbers or flavor enhancers or a particular name that you don't know what it is, you shouldn't be eating it. Simple as that. And over a lifetime, eating these toxic ingredients, these ingredients that the body doesn't see as natural and can't utilize, we store that in our fat cells. And therefore, what's that epidemic? Weight gain, obesity. So we need to be going back to natural foods and whole foods diet, which is a very simple thing to do, and it's a very enjoyable diet. We don't have to go through this dogma of, oh, I can't eat that, I can't eat that, I feel guilty for eating this, I feel guilty for that. Within a whole foods diet, you can still eat lovely foods, sweet foods, carbohydrate foods such as honey. Raw honey is a beautiful food, and yes, it is as sweet on the glycemic index as sugar and white sugar, but the difference between the two, again, comes to this whole food paradigm, is that white sugar is sweet, yes, but it has nothing else. It doesn't give you anything else. It actually strips nutrition from your body. Okay, and it's something in a form that the body does not utilize as something natural. So therefore, what does it do? All of a sudden, you have to, your body, your pancreas secretes a lot of insulin to try and drive the sugar into the into red blood cell, into the cells, and it just keeps doing that until your pancreas wears out. Plus, the body will store it as fat, and therefore you'll put on weight gain. But with honey, now honey is a natural form of sugar the body does know how to utilize. It's antimicrobial, so it actually help ward off bacteria and viruses and so on. And it's highly enzymatic, which means it's a catalyst to all your chemical reactions or what's happening within the body. It actually works alongside the body. So it's a completely different food. And again, it's just going by that paradigm of that's a whole food. Honey is a whole food. It's made by bees in nature, collecting pollen from all the flowers, and then making this wonderful medicinal substance which we call honey. It's really a gift from God, essentially. So that's a perfect example of that. Obviously, in the carbohydrate, we want to be careful with pastas and stuff like that. Again, it's, you don't find pasta the way that we see it in nature, do we? So, if we eat quinoa, we see that. We see that in nature. We cultivate that from the quinoa plant. So, they are perfect examples that we need to be focusing on. We need to be focusing on our trace minerals, making sure we've got a wide spectrum of minerals because the body requires that to function properly. But overall, the big thing to take from this video is the fact that we really need to be careful with the ingredients that we're consuming and get away from this calorie counting. Okay, we need to get away from this calorie counting because a lot of these weight loss paradigms and diets, they just focus so much on those calories, but they don't focus about the quality of the calories. Okay, when it comes down to the quality, is it a whole food? Is it a food that the body will identify and use as an energy source, or is it a substance that is not natural anymore and the body will store it as fat? And if it's something that you can't read, it's got a chemical name, it's got a number, and it's not a whole food ingredient, which essentially means most processed foods that we buy, then you don't want to be consuming it because you're just promoting weight gain. Okay? So get out of the paradigm that fat causes fat as well, because it doesn't. Fat, whole food fats from nature are actually great energy sources, and you'll burn that. It helps your increase in metabolism, which will also help with weight loss. So a lot of fats are great for weight loss, especially the saturated fats such as coconut oil, butter, ghee, and some of these fats as well as raw avocado and raw avocado oil, getting a high quality olive oil, staying away from these processed oils. Again, an oil that originally came from nature but has been processed so much and heated so much that it's foreign to the body, and therefore the body doesn't know how to utilize it. You put on weight gain. Now I'm talking about those processed vegetable oils, which I've done in the previous videos, that you really want to remove as well. So anyway, I wanted to do this video because I'm just seeing the same things happening all the time, and people getting very frustrated with not being able to lose weight. So I hope this video helps some people out there. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening.